going on, everyone? So, today I wanted to talk about one of the most feared colors that's coming out in the game of Dragoborn. If you've been following this game for any amount of time, you've probably heard of Zarko and the other powerful red creatures that we've been seeing. So, what I wanted to do today was actually talk about this color and see why we're so scared of it. At least, me personally, I was, and I know a lot of other people were talking about how powerful this color is going to be. But after reviewing all the cards that we've been seeing throughout the past month, I'm not so sure that this is gonna be the most fearful color. I think black is gonna be the more strong color. And the reason behind that is because of the way that the colors work. Now, red does have some terrifying effects that deal a ton of damage to your creatures, but it's just damage. It's not a guaranteed knockout, especially when you get some of the more powerful creatures, such as Zero. Now, I know that's not the best example because he can't be chosen by card effects anyways, but with his 7 endurance, he can still dodge Zarko's effect. Unless he can dodge Zarko's first effect. But with the black colors, particularly the spell, blanking on it, Gluttony of Albert. With that spell, assuming it's not Zero, but he can destroy the card right away instead of dealing X amount of damage. So, in terms of destruction, I feel like black is going to be a more consistent way to get rid of your opponent's creatures, rather than red, where you have to deal so much damage in order to destroy them. Now, the thing about red is that it's possible to split the damage, such as Zarko's effect, or Earthcrack if you're playing the black along with that. So it's possible to destroy 2 creatures with that, but it's not always guaranteed, because if you're going for Eleanor, for example, she has 5 endurance. If you're using Zarko and you want to get rid of the Eleanor because you want to set your Pyroblast, you're going to have to do 5 damage to her, and then you only get 1 damage for someone else, assuming Eleanor is in Dragocross. So you don't necessarily get to destroy as much as you would like to. So, we've also seen Fafnir, who is kind of on both sides of this, because it gets to destroy a Drago Shield, which I feel does fit red, but it seems to fall more in the black category, where you're just destroying something. And then it also does 5 damage, and that damage can't be split, and you're guaranteed a knockout on at least like a 4 cost or lower creature. So, yeah, I think that black is actually the better color of the two. Now, if this does happen to be the best color, I want to talk about a way that we could counter this. So, looking at the lore of all the cards, I think that we already have our counter to this, and I think that's going to be green. So, if you look at Gaia Lord Leilania's, that's probably going to be the best pronunciation I can give for that name. But if you look at her description on the Dragoborn website, she's the half-wolf Dragolord who resides in Tirnanog. She abhors violence and believes in finding peaceful methods to resolve any disputes. So, I feel like the whole lore behind the green color is that they don't want to be a part of this war. So, facing off against such aggressive colors such as black or red, I feel like they're going to counter those more easily than, say, blue or yellow. So we can also see this on the banner card for green, which is the rune mark of Tirnanog. So the little description that we have right above the name says, a symbol of peace and goodwill throughout the land. So again, it just emphasizes that green doesn't want to fight. At least that's how I'm taking this. So we've also begun to see that in the card effects, where green does seem to have, it does seem to play around that more. So looking at Remus and Aldine, you can see that they are more protective and want to guard your barriers, which is essentially the life in this game. So Aldine moves the barriers around. So say you only have one fort left with 2 barriers there, you summon her and you move one barrier to another fort. They're letting you block even more and essentially letting the game progress even longer. And Remus has a similar ability when he's Dragocrossed, letting you play the top card of your deck as a barrier, essentially giving you more life. So I do think these are really good counters to such aggressive decks because it is letting you prolong the game and letting you essentially survive for another turn, provided your opponent can't kill you on their next turn. But that's not it. That's just focusing on the life. We've also seen Eleanor, who is extremely defensive in terms of she protects you from the ambushes. She can destroy an ambush if she's not Dragocrossed, and she just completely locks your opponent out of playing their ambushes if she is Dragocrossed. So I think this card is a huge advantage playing against red because I feel like red is going to rely on Pyroblast along with Zarko and their higher cost creatures. But early on, playing Pyroblast for just 2 of any color, I feel like that's going to be amazing, and Eleanor can shut that down if you're going second on your first turn. So I think she's going to be a great counter to the red deck, provided they're playing a lot of ambushes, because we've also seen Ravian, who summons herself and deals 2 damage to all of your creatures if one of their creatures is destroyed. But along with her, we also have Terrax, who is immune to abilities, or immune to being chosen by effects, if he's Dragocrossed. So we did also see that in Zero, so I can't say that it's just him, or just green, that's going to have that, but I feel like green represents that better. So with Terrax, it's such a huge monster that he's the biggest one that we've seen and can be played for essentially 4 if you have your forts gone, and he can really put pressure because Zarko can't destroy him, both because he can't be chosen and he has 8 endurance rather than 6, which Zarko needs. Even when Zarko's destroyed and it does 7, that's still not enough to destroy Terrax if he was not Dragocrossed. So, with the green ambushes, we've only seen 2 so far, but the Blood-Sent Arachnid triggers when one of your creatures is destroyed. So essentially replacing the creature that you lost and giving you another body on the field. So I feel like the whole green color, as I've been saying throughout the video, really lets you counter red and black because it just does such a great job of protecting you and your forts. We also see that in Kingslayer B. I didn't include it because it's more generic, where Blood-Sent Arachnid triggers when a creature is destroyed. But Kingslayer B does protect your forts by resting another creature, and as we saw in one of the videos that Dragoborne released, you can use it the turn it's summoned to block another attack. So, green is defensive in my opinion, not as defensive as blue, but at least counters those destructive cards really well. And just another card that I wanted to mention, while it's not essentially relevant to this discussion, we do have Falthalas the Lost Wind, who has Invade Red, and we haven't seen any other creatures with Invade, but this is a good counter to red, not essentially black, which I think may be better, but I do feel like we'll be seeing red and black played together as one of the stronger decks. So yeah, let me know what your guys' thoughts are down below. Do you think that black is going to be the best deck, or do you think it's going to be a combination of black and red, or black and blue possibly? I've seen a lot of people discussing that. And do you think that green is going to be the best counter to that? So let me know what you think down below, or you can tweet at me. My Twitter is down there as well. And as always, thanks for watching.